the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
All right, third series, we're going to rotate a guy, and then we may not rotate the rest of the game, if Dylan Sampson's healthy. I don't think that'll be the case this year.
Final thing. You've been writing and covering the Lady Vols here a lot. That they beat Ohio State, first home loss for Ohio State, and they're building this year. They're in the Sweet 16 along with the men's team. The most impressive part of year one in Kim Caldwell's tenure for you, Brent Hubbs, is what?
That she got a group to buy in to her system, to play the way that they did, the way that they have, and doing it while she was pregnant and having a child and recovering from that. I mean, that to do all of that in 1 year and to get to this point. Oh, and by the way, you were really not very good the last 2 weeks. And so you have 13 days off to fix it and go into tournament play. And you go in and play your two best games that you've played arguably in 6 weeks. I think there's a lot to be optimistic about what she's been able to do and what they've gotten done. They obviously got some good players, in the portal. I mean, Spearman's just been a terrific asset. Cooper's played well. But to get what she's gotten out of Darby and Puckett, who probably don't fit this system that, exactly like you would look for somebody to do, to get that buy-in that they've had with them, and for them not to be checked out to go to spring break, like they were ready to go reset and go play again. There's quite a bit of competitiveness in that program. And again, to do it while I think the pregnancy part, she'll never talk about it. Kim Caldwell won't. I don't think she'll ever dive in it because that's not her. It's not about me. I think that was a heck of a lot harder than anybody on the outside ever will know. And of course, I'm never going to know because I'm never going to be pregnant. You're never going to be pregnant. So we don't understand all that. But just the fatigue you go through, you're trying to energize, you're trying to create energy in your program. You're having a hard time doing that because you're 7, 8, 9 months pregnant. Then I think she had visions of having a child on Monday and coaching at Texas. And that's not realistic. And I think the recovery post delivery to get back to where she wanted to be, energy, where she could go on the practice floor the way she wanted to and coach her team the way she wanted to, took longer than she thought. And this team handled all of that. They handled it well. They were competitive against everybody with the exception of Kentucky. Now, they blew a game at home against Georgia, which was an ugly loss. They did not play well against Vanderbilt in the SEC tournament. But, I mean, at Baton Rouge, there was nothing wrong with what they did in that game. They gave a game away at Vanderbilt. They had a chance to beat LSU at home, to beat Oklahoma at home. They beat Connecticut at home. They were highly competitive for a team that you wondered if they would make the tournament. They were really competitive with the exception of the last week of the regular season where they were bad at Kentucky and they were just horrific at home on senior day against Georgia.
I'm very curious to see. They're just playing with house money right now.
Yeah. At this point, it's, hey, let's go let it all hang out. And all the pressure's on Texas.
Yes.
All the pressure's on Texas. And for her to get this team to the Sweet 16 in year one, nobody can come back and say, well, she didn't do as well as Kelly Harper did. And what do they do? She's established herself that, hey, this thing's going to work. When it all comes together and all of her parts and pieces are there, this thing makes sense. It looks like a really good investment for Danny White. It's created some excitement and some energy and publicity for them that the program is needing. Ticket sales are up. At this point, everything's house money for them. They've achieved, or in some cases overachieved, what most people thought they were going to do in year one. Now the question is, how does that system work in year two? Does it all come together the way it's supposed to in year two, or does everybody figure you out? Does everybody have a better answer for you in year two? There's always tweaking and adjustments, so that'll be fun to see from a year from now. But as for Saturday, total house money in Birmingham.
And how do you play all these new blue chip freshmen? It feels like forever ago she landed all those 5 stars, and
I think she's going to make noise in the portal. I think they're going to bring in. I think they'll bring in 2 to 4 players out of the portal, which will create some real competition, and we'll see how those again, I think you're always going to have some turnover. We'll see how those young freshmen handle it. And again, she's going to play a lot of bodies anyway. So, but I think she is going to have to get her some help in the portal. They obviously need a veteran post player. They're going to need a veteran point guard because you don't want it to be Boyd and just a freshman at the point. You need somebody with some experience to calm you there. And you need a shooter on the perimeter, probably, maybe somebody who can shoot and drive it a little bit because of what you're losing in Jules Spear and Darby. I mean, you're living on the three, obviously. You better get some better shooters that can shoot some threes in there. Now, the freshmen you think can do that, but you need a little veteran person out there on the perimeter too.
Brent Hubbs, what can the good folks check out from you and the team over at Volquest.com this week?
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas podcast. Hell yeah.